My dad introduced me to video games at a young age. While the first console I have solid memories playing by myself was the GameCube, my dad took it upon himself to show me stuff from when he was a kid, mainly the NES. He has a great Atari collection too, but Atari games are kinda hard to sell to a kid. Look, that's supposed to be a car. Sure, Dad, I guess. But I loved so many classic Nintendo games. Eventually, I spent a lot of time playing things like Super Mario Bros. 3 and Mega Man 2. When Dad and I would play together, he would promptly kick my ass in Dr. Mario, regardless of the handicap he was given. To this day, I struggle to beat him without a significant difficulty difference. It probably would have taken me much longer to get around to playing these without him if I ever tried them at all. This gave me an appreciation for video game history as well as series or genres I might not have ever tried. And I fully intend to show my own child game series like Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, and one day, I will destroy them in Sonic Adventure 2's battle mode as my father did with his own game before me. It's a new family tradition at this point. And that's all well and good, but what's the point of this video exactly? After all, it's supposed to be about online gaming, right? Well, I'm getting to that. I say all that to paint you a picture. I'm sure that these happy memories I have associated with gaming are part of the reason it is such a strong hobby of mine. Things like that are irreplaceable and make great games even better to come back to. And today's generation may have trouble making this happen for their own children one day. If you have a child in your life that plays games, or you have a pulse, you've heard of Fortnite. I'm not here to dunk on Fortnite. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, and I have put my fair share of hours across various seasons. That has satisfying gameplay, and since the addition of no building modes, I have enjoyed playing it even more. With the insane amount of servers and game types that people have made, the game is essentially endlessly replayable, and its monetization is better than pretty much any free-to-play game on the market. It basically invented the Battle Pass system, and has continued to make it possible to purchase the following Battle Pass by completing the previous one. Purchases are almost always aesthetically focused, not giving an advantage to those who spend money. I do not blame kids for loving this game. It's actually pretty great. But for as great of a game as it is, it and every other live service, online-only game present an interesting problem when it comes to preservation. By their nature, live service games need to change their content frequently to avoid players losing interest from repetition. This makes sense, but it also leads to a lot of beloved mechanics making an appearance only to be relegated to the vault for 6 months until Epic decides to bring it back out again. It's kind of like trying to get nacho fries at Taco Bell. Sure, they might be there, but they could just as easily be taken away from the menu. Where are you? As a result, many people have favorite items that may never appear again. I absolutely loved the Spider-Man web shooters. They have since added items that tried to fulfill the same niche, and the wings from the most recent season were close for me, but not quite the same. A lot of people would struggle to call Fortnite their favorite game, even if they play a lot of it, because their favorite version of it might have been 4 seasons ago before it took away what the person loved the most about the game. This might seem melodramatic if I was just talking about some weapons and items changing, but this is the entire layout of the map we're talking about. If someone loved Fortnite but stopped playing before a big map update, it would look like a totally different place.
What is this place?
This can be exciting, but it also makes you feel bad that all the time that went into making these cool places of interest is now just kind of gone. If someone in the future wanted to show their child Fortnite, even if it existed at the time, it would be an entirely different game than when they were a kid. And if it didn't exist, then it meets the same fate as every other online-only game. Death. Die! 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 This is what we sign up for when purchasing a game that is entirely or heavily reliant upon online features. Once the servers of the game are no longer running, that disc you own is essentially just a coaster that'll scratch your table. This is a worthwhile trade-off for most, but for many, not being able to go back to old niche favorites, even to play offline or against bots in some cases, is a huge bummer. And this is the reality we're plunging ourselves into head first. Even games that have no business being live service models, like the recent Suicide Squad game, have that style of gameplay shoved in to artificially lengthen the game time. This is so counterintuitive and will ironically hurt the longevity of the game, while also pissing off your current players by drip-feeding content. Baldur's Gate 3 won so many awards for a variety of reasons, but something that will always make it hold up is that even in this age of modern gaming, absolutely no part of it needs internet connection. When you bought the game, that was the whole game. I got what I paid for, and now have an amazing game with nearly endless replayability that I never have to connect to the internet again if I don't want to. That is becoming more and more rare with anything that isn't an RPG. I understand that this isn't possible for every kind of game, but the games that can absolutely should future-proof themselves for when the tech they are running on is inevitably outdated. For games like Fortnite, I'm not sure what the best solution would even be. At some point, it would be cool to get a downloadable Fortnite snapshot of sorts. You could feature a ton of the best locations and features from across the series to help preserve its history. It would be a licensing nightmare, I'm sure, but even if it was just a bot or local split screen matches only, it would be a cool way to see how far the game has come. This might be a niche request, so I doubt it'll ever happen, but maybe in a decade when they want to start capitalizing on the new nostalgia that's starting to brew for Fortnite. When I look back on games I had a great time with, it makes me sad to remember some of them, because there just isn't a good way to play them anymore. Some of this is an issue because of a lack of modern ports, but that's a topic for a whole nother video. But with others, even if I found a way to play them, I can never play them to their full potential ever again. And while I can offer a solution for some scenarios, the truth is, some games were just destined for death day one. One of my favorite multiplayer shooters I've ever played was Gotham City Imposters. It was a very silly first-person shooter that had your team cosplaying as a shitty version of either Batman or the Joker. You'd fight with a mix of real-world and cartoony weapons and gadgets. Characters had different selectable body types with their own properties, so that level of customization and loadout was very cool. I haven't seen anything I've liked quite as much since. It was such a great game, but it was niche when it came out already, only receiving player boosts when it was given away through Xbox's Games with Gold, which is how I believe I started playing in the first place. I loved this game, and it makes me a little bit sad that I'll never be able to play it again in the way that I remembered so fondly. Some servers are still up, but the lobbies won't be anywhere close to full, and anyone left playing will absolutely destroy me constantly. But then, I think about it some more. Let's say tomorrow, out of nowhere, they re-release the game on Series X and PS5. Would I play it? Maybe. But for how long? I honestly don't know. I haven't really played many multiplayer shooters at all lately besides the occasional game of Fortnite. There are just so many great game series to become invested in to be spending time grinding out prestige in Call of Duty, but I guess that's just a matter of taste. If I'm fully honest with myself, I have to admit that this game would be collecting virtual dust before long, and I think a lot of people would do the same after a few weeks. Hopefully more and more games will come out with preservation in mind, but for an online-focused multiplayer experience, without an actual player base, you have no game. And going back to Fortnite, you can't really blame them for switching things up so often, because they need to constantly chase those numbers. As it is, no game will ever be as fun as my memories make it out to be. After all, so many of those memories are influenced by playing with my friends online. Sometimes it's okay for a game, even a really good one, to die. The game preservationist in me hates it, but sometimes there's nothing you can do. But then it dawned on me. These online-only games are actually being preserved in a way. YouTube gaming videos. While some games are no longer playable, no matter how niche it is, there are at least some videos of people playing it on the internet. Even better if you have commentary over the footage of friends playing together. Normally I wouldn't want much commentary in a video like this, but I think videos like this will be extremely important in the future for documenting game history. After all, what are future multiplayer game designers going to do with so few references to pull from, when so many games inevitably close up shop on their servers? I suppose that someday, watching a YouTube video of people playing Fortnite together will probably be enough to show people what it was like long after it was gone. And by then, who knows what'll be out for us to play instead? Bethesda probably released like 2 games in that time. It's not the same, but it's something. And even though the game was destined to die, its memory should still be preserved in some form. Letting go of something you love from your past is hard, even if it's just a silly game that you don't think you'll ever play again. But the memories you and your friends have with it made it all worth having in the first place. Thank you to the people who made all of the amazing games out there that can no longer be played. The servers might be gone or nearly empty, but the fun we had playing will never be forgotten.